Hello again. Nice to be here with you. I'm going to be discussing with you a wonderful and important topic on the basic science. And the topic today we're going to be looking at is family health. The first aspect of family health we have actually discussed was all about diseases and knowing the different types of diseases. Now, this particular aspect of family health, which I can call family health 2, under basic science, we're going to be talking about nutrition. Now, there are several subtopics we're supposed to be looking at in this topic of nutrition. Let's take a look at them. Number one, we're going to be talking about the meaning of nutrition. Number two, we're also going to be discussing the meaning and importance of food. You know, when the word nutrition comes to the ears, what enters the mind is food. Number three, we're going to be looking at food items or foodstuffs. Number four, we're going to be talking about sources of food. We're also going to be looking at the different classes of food. We're going to talk about nutrients. We're going to talk about balanced diet. And we're also going to be looking at the importance of a balanced diet. So these are the areas we're actually going to be covering just within these few minutes under this particular topic, nutrition. Now, if you're ready, let's begin. Now, what exactly is nutrition? For me, I would say that nutrition is actually the process by which living organisms obtain nutrients. However, a better definition can be that nutrition is the process of taking in food in order to get energy and maintain a sound health, or healthy life, all right? So these are the definitions of nutrition. I repeat, the first one I said is the process by which living organisms obtain nutrients. Now, these nutrients have so many impact in our lives. It provides energy. It maintains a healthy life for us. It helps to build up our bodies. It helps for our growth and so on. So nutrition covers all these aspects. Also, nutrition, like I said again, can be defined as the process of taking in chemical substances we call food to get energy and also maintain life. Now, nutrition, based on this definition, can also be called feeding in living organisms. It can also be called feeding. Now, there are different types of nutrition. Now, if you compare nutrition in plants and nutrition in animals, you will discover we have two main types of nutrition. Now, in plants, we have what we call autotrophic nutrition. It simply means plants can manufacture their own nutrients. They can manufacture their own food. But animals can't manufacture their own food. They depend on plants and other animals for food. Now, plants manufacturing or providing their own food, that process is what we call autotrophic nutrition. One aspect of autotrophic nutrition is what we call photosynthesis. Now, photosynthesis is actually a process that occurs only in green plants, where these green plants make use of carbon dioxide, water, and the energy from the sun to manufacture their own food. So it means that photosynthesis is an aspect or a type of autotrophic nutrition. And remember, I said that autotrophic nutrition can be found mostly occurring in plants. The second type of nutrition is called heterotrophic. Remember, I said that animals can't manufacture their own food. They rather depend on plants and also other animals for food. Now, that process is what we call heterotrophic nutrition. Now, heterotrophic nutrition is actually carried out mostly in animals. It's only found in animals. Now, we have different types of heterotrophic nutrition. Now, in your higher classes, we are going to still talk more about it, though let me just shed a little light on these types of nutrition. Now, for autotrophic nutrition, we have basically two types. We have what we call photosynthetic nutrition, I have explained, and we have the one we call chemosynthetic nutrition. Now, for animals, we also have different types of nutrition. We have what we call holozoic Now, holozoic nutrition can be divided into, we have animals, different animals that undergo holozoic nutrition. We have herbivores, we have carnivores, we have omnivores. Herbivores are animals that feed on just grasses or plants, and then carnivores are actually animals that feed on only flesh or other animals, and then omnivores are animals that feed on both plants and other animals. Now, with other type of heterotrophic nutrition, we have parasitic nutrition, we have saprophytic nutrition. These are the different types of heterotrophic nutrition. Now, when you are actually talking about heterotrophic nutrition, you are actually looking at animal nutrition. Now, animal nutrition begins with food. So we're going to be looking at what exactly is food. Now, food is any substance which, when eaten, is used to maintain life and also encourage growth. Maintain life and also encourage growth. Now, what are the importance of food? Now, is food important? Yes, of course. Food is actually very important. Now, one of the importance of food is that it gives us energy. It gives us energy. There are several metabolic activities that actually goes on in our body that needs energy to drive it. An example is I am talking. Now, for me to be able to talk for a long time, I need energy. Energy is needed to run. Energy is needed to teach. Energy is needed to drive your cars. Energy is needed to even cook the food. Energy is needed in every of man's activities. And so, one of the major importance of food is to provide the body with what? Energy. Energy to carry out daily activities, or you can say carry out metabolic processes. All right. Now, the second importance of food is that it helps to maintain life. It helps to maintain life. So for you to remain alive here on earth, one of the things you shouldn't play with is food. Starvation kills. Food or feeding keeps you alive. Number 3 is it makes us to grow. Healthy growth in an individual is also based on food. One of the classes of food that actually helps for healthy growth is the proteins. So when you are malnourished, when a child is actually malnourished, that child doesn't grow well. So one of the reasons for poor growth is actually malnourishment, okay? Or if you can say malnutrition, better. So malnutrition has a way of actually affecting and playing a major effect or major role in our development of the body and in our growth of the body. All right. Number 4 importance of food is that it helps us to stay healthy. So if you want to stay healthy, you must eat your food. Now, food has mostly the vitamins and the minerals. They help to maintain good health in us. They help to maintain good health. In fact, a deficiency of most of these vitamins and minerals are most of the results of diseases we find in our everyday life. So eating well means living and staying healthy. Number 5 is that it helps to build the body and repair worn-out tissues of the body. I have also explained this when I was actually explaining growth. I said that the body or food actually helps to build our body. It helps to replace worn-out tissues of the body. The next thing is that food helps the body to fight against diseases. Now, if you don't eat much, if you are malnourished, all right, you are actually exposing or weakening your cells, mostly the white blood cells. And when the white blood cells are actually weak, they can't carry out their function of defending the body. They can't carry out the function of defending the body. Now, in biology, we were made to understand that cells carry out all activities of life. And because that's why they said cell is actually the basic unit of life, because it carries out all the activities of life. So cells can move, cells can respire, cells can also feed. So once the cells are not getting enough food, remember the first point we gave, we said one of the major importance of food is that it gives us energy. So when the cells don't feed, they don't have enough energy to carry out their activities. Now, for the white blood cells, it won't have enough energy to fight against diseases or fight against harmful microorganisms. Now, food items or food stuff. Now, what do we mean by food items? What are actually food items? Most of us have been hearing, I bought some food items, I bought some food stuff, and all that. Now, food items are things or items we eat. Anything you eat, anything you take as food is referred to as your food item. You can also call it food stuff. Examples of food stuff or food items, we have the rice, we have the yam, we have the beans, we have the fish, we have the gari, we have the groundnuts, we have so many others. Now, a meal is actually a combination of two or more food items eating together. So when I combine my rice with the beans and I put fish or meat on it, that is now what we call a meal. So the combination of food items is referred to as a meal. All right. Now let's take a look at sources of these food items. Where can these food, or how are these food items sourced out from? Now, food items can be classified into two based on their sources. Based on their sources. Now, the first one is what we call the plant source. The second is called animal source. So these are two sources of food item. Now let's take a look at some of the examples of the plant sources of food item or food stuff. Now, plant sources of food items, they include the roots, okay? Now, in terms of plants, the roots of plants most times can be used as food. Examples of food you can get from root plants, from the roots of plants include cassava, we have carrots, we also have, to an extent, you can say yam and so on. But we can also classify yam and cassava also as underground stem. All right. Number two, which is underground stem. We have the Irish potatoes, we have the yam, we have the onions. We also have fruits. Fruits can also be obtained from plants. We have examples, we have the orange, we have the apples, we have the bananas, and so on. These can be obtained from plants. And also we have the seeds. Now, seeds can also be obtained from plants. We have the legumes and the cereals or the grains. Grains like rice, grains like millets, and so on, the cowpeas, the grains, rice, millet, the sorghums, and so on. The legumes also, we have the beans, we have the groundnuts, we have the soya beans, and so on. These are seeds, and these are food items that are sourced from plants. They are sourced from plants. We also have the animal sources of food items. Now, these animal sources include things like meat, we have fish, we have egg, we have chicken, we have cheese, we have milk. All these are all animal sources of food. Okay? So remember, we have two sources. We have the plant source, and then we have the animal source. Now, moving ahead, let's take a look at classes of food. We're still discussing food. I believe you love food. So we're still discussing food. Now, we have several classes of food. Today, we're going to be looking at 7 classes of food. We're going to talk about 7 classes of food. So please remember them. The first one is called carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates, we have different types of carbohydrates. In fact, carbohydrates are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And we have different types of carbohydrate, about 3 different kinds of carbohydrate. We have one we call simple sugars, okay, or you can call them the monosaccharides. We have the reducing sugars, which are the disaccharides. And then we have the complex sugars, which are the polysaccharides, all right? And then we have different sources of carbohydrates. Examples include the rice. Rice is a source of carbohydrate. We have cassava, we have wheat, we have maize, we have millet, we have potatoes, and so many other. We have also the maize. We have so many other examples of of carbohydrates. Now, what exactly is the major function of carbohydrates? Now, carbohydrate is an energy-giving food. So it provides the body with energy. Remember, we talked about the importance of food. And I mentioned to you about one of the major importance of food is that it provides energy. It provides energy. And that energy can be gotten from carbohydrates. The next one is proteins. Now, proteins are a very unique aspects of food. The end products of proteins is called amino acids. Now, there are several sources of proteins. Proteins can be sourced, can be a plant source. We can also have animal sources of proteins. But in terms of carbohydrates, majorly carbohydrates are plant sourced, okay? But in terms of proteins, we have both animal and plant source. Examples include meat, fish. You see, those are animal sources. We have beans, granules. These are plant sources. Milk, egg, that's also animal sources, and etc. These are various sources of proteins. Now, what are the functions of proteins? I'll give you 3 important functions of proteins. Number 1, proteins help to repair worn-out tissues of the body. It helps to repair worn-out tissues of the body. Number 2, proteins help in growth and development of the body. Now, it helps to build up the body. That's growth. Building up of the body is the job of protein. So if you want to grow very well, let your diet or your meal be rich in proteins. Number 3, proteins also provide energy, but it provides energy when carbohydrate is lacking in the body, or when glucose is actually lacking in the body. Glucose is actually the end product of carbohydrates. All right. Now, another type or class of food is the fats and oils. You can also call them lipids. Okay, fats and oils or lipids. Now, we have different sources of fats and oils, but for your information, we have 2 types of fats and oils. We have water-soluble fats, and then we also have the fat-soluble. Okay, that should be in terms of vitamins, where we have the fat-soluble vitamins and the water-soluble vitamins. My bad. Today, so what we're looking at is fats and oils. Now, these are some of the sources of fats. We have the palm oil, we have granite, to an extent we have meat, we have some fish. They also possess fats and oils. We have the margarine, we have the butter, we have the cheese, and so on. These are sources of fats. Now, what are the functions of fats and oils? Number 1, fats and oils act as insulators. They act as insulators and they prevent heat loss. They act as insulators. So they don't allow the flow or the loss of heat, all right? So they act as insulators, thereby making the person to be warm. All right. Number 2 is that fats and oils provide the body with energy. In fact, compared with carbohydrates, the class of food that actually produces or provides the body with much energy is fats and oils, not carbohydrates, but fats and oils. Number 3, it forms part of the cell membrane. And finally, number 4, it cushions body organs. These are some of the functions of fats and oils. The next one is vitamins. Now, what are some of the sources of vitamins? I was actually trying to mention 1 or 2 things about vitamins on the fats. So we have the fat-soluble vitamins, and then we have the water-soluble vitamins. Now, we have also vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, E, and K. Now, vitamin A, I think deficiency of vitamin A causes what we call night blindness. Deficiency of vitamin B causes what we call beriberi. Deficiency of vitamin C causes what we call scurvy. Deficiency of vitamin D causes what we call ricket. Deficiency of vitamin E causes what we call sterility, and deficiency of vitamin K causes what we call hemophilia or hemorrhage. All right, so these are some of the deficiencies of these vitamins. Remember, I said that we have two kinds of vitamin. We talked about the fat soluble and then the water soluble. The water soluble vitamins are vitamin B and C, while the fat soluble vitamins are vitamin A, D, E, and K. Now, what are the sources of vitamins? Number one, we have leafy vegetables, we have fruits of all kind, we have eggs, we have liver, we have palm oil, and so on. These are all examples or sources of vitamins. Then also, what are the functions of vitamins? Number one, it promotes healthy body growth, healthy body and growth in children. So please, if you're a child, please ensure that your meal are filled, or you have your meal every day. You take vegetables or you take fruits. They are very, very good for their development. They are also very good for the growth of children. Another important function or another importance of vitamins is that it prevents diseases. It helps to prevent diseases. We also have minerals. I think that should be number 4 or number 5 rather. We have minerals, and minerals, we have different types of minerals. We have minerals like potassium. We have minerals like calcium for strong bones and teeth. We have fluorine. We have minerals like iodine. And the deficiency of these minerals poses a very big challenge. Mostly like deficiency of calcium affects your bones and the teeth formation. And then a deficiency of minerals like iodine brings about goiter. You see some persons' necks that are actually swollen. That is what we call goiter. It is as a result of deficiency of deficiency of the mineral iodine. All right. Now, what are some of the sources of minerals? We have fruits, we have eggs, we have milk, we have dried fish, we have vegetables, and so on. Now, what is the major function of minerals? Now, it aids the formation of good bones, like I told you in terms of calcium. It aids in the formation of good bones, teeth, blood, meat, and liver. So these are some of the functions of minerals. The sixth class of food is water. Now, water is very essential. Now, some persons, some persons actually believe that water is actually not a food. Water is one of the class of food. And we have different sources of water. We have rain. We can get water from the rain. We can get water from spring. We can get water from rivers. We can get water from streams. We can get water from the well and so many other places. These are different sources of water. Now, what is the major function of water? I'll just give but a few. One of them is that it is the major component of the blood and the flesh or the body. The body's weight is more of water. The blood is more of water, okay? Like the plasma in the blood is more of water. Number 2, the water aids digestion of food. It aids the digestion of food. And then finally, for classes of food, we have roughages. Now, what are roughages? Roughages are actually vegetables. Some roughages are carbohydrates, some of them are proteins, and some of them are fruits. Now, one major function of roughages can also be called fibers, all right? Now, one major function of roughages is that it makes food to pass through the digestive system easily. And lack of roughages in your diet can also lead to what we call constipation, okay? Constipation. Now, next is nutrients. Now, all these things I have just mentioned, from carbohydrates down to fiber or roughages, can be referred to as the nutrients. Now, nutrients are chemicals or food that provide what living things need to live a healthy life and grow well. Now, the different classes of food can also be called nutrients. The different classes of food can also be called nutrients. We have mentioned about carbohydrates, we mentioned proteins, we mentioned fats and oils, we mentioned vitamins, we mentioned minerals, we mentioned water, and we mentioned fiber or roughages. All these are nutrients, all right? Now, balanced diet. Now, what exactly is a diet? A diet refers to the meals we eat every day. Now, remember what we said about a meal. A meal is a combination of food items, all right? A combination of food items we eat. So a diet is actually refers to the meals we eat every day. Now, what is a balanced diet? Now, a balanced diet is a diet that contains all these classes of food, all these nutrients we've just mentioned in their right proportion. So a balanced diet is actually a meal or a diet that contains all the classes of food in their correct or right proportion or amount. So that is what we call balanced diet. Now, finally, before I leave you, importance of balanced diet. What are the importance? Number one, it makes us to stay healthy. Now, when you eat a balanced diet, you stay healthy. Now, your diet shouldn't be much of carbohydrates. Your diet shouldn't be all of proteins. Your diet shouldn't be only fats and oils. And that is why eating things like the candies, the biscuits, and all that, the cookies, they are actually junks. They are not balanced diet. So a diet that contains all the classes of food, there must be proteins, there must be carbohydrates, there must be fats and oils, there must be minerals, there must be vitamins. In other words, there must be vegetables, there must be fruits in it. Now, number two importance is that it helps to prevent malnutrition. Okay, and then number three, it helps to protect the body from diseases. So this is the end where we call it a wrap up on this particular topic. But before I go, I'd like us to take a look at some few questions using our ExamGuide app. Please, if you don't have this, try and do well to get it. It's actually going to help you prepare for your exam. Let's look at just few questions. Now, question one says, which of these vitamins can be obtained from the sun? Now, I forgot to mention, vitamin D is a vitamin that can be manufactured or can be produced by your body through the help or the assistance of the sun, energy from the sun. So which of these vitamins can be obtained from the sun? The correct answer is D, vitamin D. Next question, in which form is excess sugar stored in the body? Now, excess sugar is stored in the body in the form of glycogen. And then number three, which of the following food is a source of vitamin K? Which of the following food is a source of vitamin K? And we have the green vegetables, all right? And then number four, animals store excess glucose in the liver in form of is still the same question, and that is glycogen. I'll take the last one, which is question 5. The vitamin that aids good vision. Good vision. Remember, I talked about deficiency of vitamin A, and I said that one of the deficiency of vitamin A is night blindness. So what actually aids good vision is vitamin A. Vitamin A. So this is what we're going to call it a wrap up in this particular class on family health, in bracket nutrition. Bye for now.